Week is a relatively simple object. It actually is built into a lot of larger objects, but it's something called Mousestate. And if you've done any other coding, you've probably seen similar things. It's just a way of getting different information about how our mouse or trackpad, depending on what you're using, is operating and get information from it. So Mousestate needs to have an update. This is actually a great space. Like every time we bang the Mousestate object here, it'll trigger different parts of the location of my mouse or the cursor specifically, whether the button is clicked or not, if I'm holding down the left click button. But it'll only do that when it's receiving bangs. And we could grab a bang and update it like this, but this is a great example of where we want the metro object. I'm going to say 33, which the math on that, 33 milliseconds, is about 30 times a second, which is like roughly the same as like your screen refresh rate. So that's usually a good place to start. And I'll grab a toggle to turn on the metro. So now 30 times a second Mousestate is receiving a bang, telling it to output its current information. And if we look at the outlets here, the first one reports if the button is up or down. The second one is the horizontal location, and the third one is the vertical location. The last two are the deltas. It's basically the difference between its current state and its previous state. We don't have to use that. An example of where you would want to use that if you wanted to use a drawing tool that you were making. You could have the line be thicker based on how fast you're moving the mouse cursor. But it's not that it's advanced or anything. It's just like not something I feel like we need to get into at this moment. But if I grab this toggle button here, it's going to return a 0 or 1 when it's clicked down. So like if I click my mouse right now, it's showing me that I clicked it. And when I release it, it lets go. So we're asking the Mousestate to be updated and show us that. And then with this number, copy paste. And I'll just put some little comments here. Mouse clicked. And then the X and the Y. And this X and Y is based off the pixel resolution of your screen. So 0, 0 is always the upper left corner. And if you want to check really quick what your resolution of your screen is, you could just go down to the bottom right corner. I have a display monitor over there, so let me go off the screen. This is roughly 1530 by 960, I'm guessing. So you can see as I'm all the way over in the 0, this is showing me the y-axis. And if I go across from the top of the screen, it's showing me the x-axis. And we could even use all of this to build something really quick. I could grab that gate object, and I could use whether the button is clicked to open or close that gate, and then pass these values through. So maybe if I was making a drawing app, I want to click and only draw when I'm clicking the button. So actually what I need to do, I can't hook both of these up like this because it's two pieces of information fighting for space right there. So this is an example of when I want to make a list. I can say pack 0, 0, and since both values are coming out at the same time, in theory there's times where we would want to have POC, but in this case it should be fine. Like we should have this number set before this one comes in. And now, if I make a message, so once I click the button, then it will return where its state is, and if I let go, it won't return anything right there. So that's just an example, and I can also even just build it off of what we had before. I could unpack it and give it 0, 0. It's 2 elements, 2 integers. And that is an example of how Mousestate works.